So, hello everyone,
Hello.
also known as my brother and sisters.
Hello.
So, thank you for joining me today. This is something I would like to call the Rangel Roundtable.
Ooh.
And we just every week touching base on whatever's going on, even though this is a particularly crazy week.
Right.
You know, eventually, hopefully, things will get back to normal.
Yeah.
But even amidst everything that's going on, wanted to take a chance to talk about whatever we've experienced this week, not only with the crisis going on in the nation, but also just in terms of art, things like that. So maybe let's take and this is going to be edited down, so it just
Okay.
doesn't have
Word.
to be perfect.
Okay.
But
Fine.
let's take a moment
I
to introduce yourselves. And well, what do you think? Do you feel all right introducing yourselves, or should we just jump into a topic?
I can do a short introduction.
I can do a short introduction. I don't really have
And then
anything
we can
special
cut
to
it
say
out
about
if you're
myself.
not happy.
Me
with it.
neither.
All right, let's start off with Rocco.
This is Rock. That's my name.
Hello.
That's it.
All right, very good. You okay?
This is River. Sorry, let me say that again. I feel like I said my own name wrong. This is River. Nice to meet you all. I am the second in command in our little ship of four, and I'm excited to embark on this journey. Huh?
I'm seeing mutinous looks from the others, let me tell you.
No, I'm perfectly fine with her being in second command. Should I go by Raine?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, I'm Raine, and that's all you need to know.
All right, very good. So I think let's go ahead and deal with the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and the fact that is we're here recording from home, not only because we want to, because we have to.
Right.
Everything going on with the virus and everything. What's some of your perspective on, number one, maybe how fast things changed? I mean, I remember I myself thinking that this was probably something that was going to blow over and not really touch the U.S. as much, and all of a sudden we're kind of locked in our homes. What do you guys? What are some of your thoughts?
Well, I think with the first thing that comes to mind is the Ebola crisis. At the big time, that was a big scare, but I think it didn't affect us as much.
Do you remember the Ebola crisis?
Yeah.
I do.
Because James Charles.
Well, that sounds so horrible, but yeah,
does, but-
his comment really blew up in the social media community. It actually brought a lot of awareness to what Ebola actually was, because he was such an idiot for saying that. But yeah, that was something a little bit different, just because it didn't affect us in the way that coronavirus is affecting us right now. Because I mean, I didn't think that we were going to be affected. I just assumed because we're America, we're going to have this under control, which is kind of a dumb thought now that I think about it, because of who's in office right now. Like, I shouldn't have trusted that things were going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just thought, because we've never experienced this before, it's weird.
Yeah.
There's lines to get into a store. They're
Walmart.
They're putting
Walmart.
a quota on how many items you're allowed, certain items you're allowed to have, like milk and bread, which I totally agree with. But it's just a weird experience, you know?
Yeah, I think that there is a certain level of like we live in a bubble, maybe a shield.
Yeah.
Like even when there are conflicts and war, we don't see
Yeah, we're
Right.
totally.
as much of
Yeah.
it, or maybe even any of it, especially on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's something kind of broke through our defenses, even though it got the whole world. And it's almost worth noting that I think things didn't have to be this bad.
Right.
I think there are some nations that seem to have kind of having a quicker reduction of how many new cases there are per day, but it's kind of like they reacted quicker.
Or they're saying on the news right now that California doesn't have as many bad cases as other states because we were quicker to take action. Because Gavin Newsom, he had put the stay-in-place way earlier than other states. So it's not as bad for us.
And then do we know, are there some states that are still,
Pandemics?
that aren't, don't have the shelter in place?
What I saw is that they're saying that only about 90% of America, so there's some 10% somewhere out there.
But I don't know which
That isn't it.
states, though, specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy.
So we're here stuck at home. What's it been like for you guys? Kind of just.
I actually miss going outside.
Me too.
I'm generally
Nature,
I'm
the sun.
socially an introvert, like I actually don't need a lot of like contact with people outside of this household to feel like alive or whatever. Like I'm fine with the people here and whatnot, but like in general though, I like going outside. I enjoy just going to Walmart without having to freak out about people standing a certain distance from me, or like for example, I got hired at Olive Garden to be a server, and my training was like a few days after I initially got hired, and I think Gavin Newsom had announced the stay in place for California about a day or two before I was supposed to go in for training. So my supervisor called me and was like, look, you still have a job, but we're going to be closing down. And I was like, no, which sounds really selfish because there's a lot of other people going through a lot worse than me right now. But yeah, it's just weird. The whole thing is so weird. Yeah.
No, it's definitely impacted, and I know that you had some ideas about trying to go on doing new
How my
things.
life was gonna go. Like a month ago, I was supposed to further my education, get a new job, make more money, and now I'm not doing any of that because I can't. So
Yeah, they
that's not
canceled
fun.
both of our exams, so
Yes.
we weren't even able to go. They just
Yeah.
straight up canceled them.
Yeah.
So it's like, that sucked.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
And it's interesting to note, I've been playing around with the idea of graduate school, and there's some graduate schools that actually just got a notification that they're going to waive some of the normal testing that's needed. And I don't know what other criteria they're going to look at, but since those testings are normally in person, and a lot of people don't have the ability to do that, they're just going to
Right.
say, forget it, just
Wow,
we'll
that's
just
actually
apply, finish what you can, and then we'll kind
Right.
of take it from there and try to give you a chance.
That's nice.
So that's something pretty interesting. Well, so we definitely have more downtime, kind of to absorb media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and try this. I kind of wanted to maybe touch on some of the things we've seen recently, and I think one of the more interesting shows we've watched recently is Fleabag.
Oh my
Oh
god, I
my
absolutely
God.
adore Fleabag. 10 out of 10, or at least
It's
9 out of 10. At the least.
Beautiful.
Now, for those of you watching, this is a very mature show, so watch with caution. But
No kidding.
we're actually all adults here, so
Legally.
Yes.
but the writing was so great. We all appreciate really the
Beautiful.
writing here. What are some of your thoughts of that? What really stood out to you?
The characters, just the way they're
Yeah.
written, and the acting, just how quick it is and snappy, just like boom, boom, boom. There's never a moment of rest. And like, it's so rare to see something like that nowadays because everything is like pretty dumb and just like, oh, la 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 and stuff. So seeing something like that is like really refreshing.
Yeah, just the way that it's written too. I mean, and then it's like also coupled with the music. They kind of
Yes.
they match each other. It's like quick up tempo, upbeat jazz. What would it be?
Yeah,
Is that
I think
jazz
so.
or
Yeah,
I don't really know what exactly genre, but it's matched up to the dialogue and the way that she looks at the camera.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the fact that she came up with that, brilliant. And like every movement and every facial expression is also lined up with the music. And I also appreciate the fact that she is an imperfect character. I'm personally sick of like good guys. You know what I mean? I feel like that that reality is kind of dead, or maybe wasn't ever much of a reality to begin with. Because even if you read about all the guys in the Bible, those guys are pretty messed up. Almost all of them. At least they started off, as deeply flawed people. So I appreciate that kind of storytelling.
Yeah, I think anything that is true character analysis, and I think we could go deep down a rabbit hole here, but it's worth noting. I think that anytime you're going to portray a message, you have to portray both sides of an argument.
Yeah.
Why you think something is true, but why maybe you might be wrong, and let people decide for themselves. And I think what's important about that is that if you're going to use someone as an example, you kind of have to show them just as they are,
Yeah.
flaws and
Yeah.
all, but also their qualities.
Yeah.
And you kind of, is this person a terrible person? Oh, no,
Right.
they're a kind of a good person, but they do terrible things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's that spectrum of kind of defines each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure at first, just because I don't know if it was the
Right.
first episode or first half episode. I wasn't sure whether there's gonna be consequences for some of her more gray actions. I thought maybe it would turn into a show where it's just her doing things and it doesn't matter or it doesn't. But it very quickly does turn into a show where it does show that her actions do matter and that she does have to deal with them, not only in her not only in her relationship with other people, but with herself in her inner turmoil. You know, so I think that was a really great move as opposed to whatever else they could have done.
I think that part of what, one of the dogs has to use the restroom.
Oops.
You guys are gonna have to meet the dogs at some point. Members of the family.
All they're gonna hear is a bark.
What's that?
I said all they're gonna hear is a bark.
Perf.
But as long as no one pauses, everything should go quite well.
Yeah.
Sorry, the dog had to pee.
So I think that one of, I'm not sure if this is the direction we want to go in, but I think one of the shows that helped pioneer that type of, I think we'd seen flawed characters in film, but not as much as TV shows until
Right.
Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
With
Oh
Walter
my
White.
god.
So I think that was kind of seeing that continue in different forms in television. That was really refreshing. You know. So then at the same time, something we've been just starting off is the marvelous Miss Maisel.
Ooh, sick.
Now, some of you may know that this show is authored by the same person who wrote Gilmore Girls.
The
way back.
beloved.
That's something that we've
Highly
all
esteemed
watched
in this
together.
house.
Yes,
We've
multiple
been fans for a
times.
long time.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say about either what Marvelous Miss Maisel is as compared to Gilmore Girls, or just kind of what it
that's
is
a
as into
good
itself?
question.
I think there are actually a lot of similarities.
I
that
agree, actually.
I'm finding, first of all, once again, a strong, independent female that also has her flaws, but at the same
Right.
time has been paired with the father of her children, who is a weak man. That's what, that was literally Lorelai and Christopher's dynamic in Gilmore Girls. Lorelai knew what she wanted. Well, technically, though, I feel like Lorelai always knew what she wanted, whereas Mrs. Maisel starts off, she doesn't really know her place and doesn't know where what she wants to be other than, what's his name? Her husband's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was her identity, and she seemed to be fine with that. She at the beginning, she's basically waiting on him hand and foot, kind of catering to his needs, going to his shows, and then he leaves. He's weak, blah blah blah, and then she starts her own thing. And I think now she realizes that this is what she wants to do, and that she can kind of be her own entity by herself, because she's strong enough. But and then with her parents as well, wanting